Welcome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Helen Timoffee, and I'm the founder of the Malawi Water Project. I'm so glad you're able to join us this evening for our first ever online fundraising event. This is certainly a different way for me to update you on what's happening in the project in Malawi. Unfortunately, we're not able to have our dinner and silent auction and get together to listen to beautiful music. So this is the next best way to connect. One benefit of having a virtual fundraising is that besides having to not navigate ice and snow, is that people all over Alberta, Canada, the US, and maybe even the world will be able to join us this evening. I want to give a very special welcome to those of you who have never been able to join us previously. Welcome. Our presentation is about 45 minutes long, and I know how tired you are of being on your computer so much during this COVID-19 crisis. So we decided that we would record the session, and then you could listen to it at any time, or you can listen to it in segments. If you want to leave a comment or question in the question box under the video, just go out of full screen and you should be able to scroll down and find the comment box and post a comment and I'll respond to you. If you're not able to join us for the whole session but would like to donate, please click on the donate button in the top right-hand corner of the screen and you'll be taken to our donation page through ATB Cares. You may get a 15% matching donation. The Malawi Water Project. Who are we and what do we do? First and foremost, we're a team, working hand in hand across the globe. We may be 15,000 kilometers apart, but we're working closely together to bring clean water to villages in rural Malawi, a small sub-Saharan African country. Malawi is a beautiful country. It has a developing middle class, increasing tourist industry. Nevertheless, the problems that Malawi is facing are extreme. There's widespread poverty, high unemployment, diseases such as malaria and HIV. There's a lack of educational opportunities, especially for girls. Child marriages, chronic malnutrition, a lack of electricity, deforestation, and many other issues that come with being ranked as the world's fourth poorest country. The statistics are staggering and difficult for those of us who come from countries at the other end of the spectrum to even fathom. The problems are complex, multifaceted, and interconnected. The majority of people live as subsistence farmers on less than $2 a day, so they're unable to meet the basic necessities of their families. School systems are overwhelmed. There aren't enough classrooms, and often children are sitting outside on rocks having to learn from a blackboard being instructed by a teacher. Classrooms are overcrowded and can be up to over 100 students in each classroom. Medical services are inadequate and scarce. We found that rural clinics often didn't have medicine to treat diseases, not even aspirin. Diseases that were eradicated in wealthier nations a century ago, such as cholera and tuberculosis, are still prevalent in Malawi. Maternal and neonatal complications are one of the top 5 causes of death. Imagine being a mom who I had met in a rural village with an 11-year-old son who had contracted malaria, and he had become unconscious. She carried him 10 kilometers down a rocky path with no shoes to a clinic to try and get help. When she got there, she learned that he needed a blood transfusion. The clinic could not help him, and the only help he could get would be at the hospital. However, the vehicle that was used as an ambulance was not available and was trying to save someone else. Stories like this are so prevalent in Malawi. It's heartbreaking. 50% of children are underweight due to malnourishment. Over 1 million orphans are in the country being cared for by older siblings, extended family, or organizations. Behind these statistics are real people, very connected with our project, like Mary, a community health promoter who contracted tuberculosis and died in her early 30s. Or Esther, who died in her early 40s, leaving behind 3 children, and her husband, Father Raphael Maponda, who was instrumental in starting the Malawi Water Project. Esther herself was an orphan at 13, left to care for 3 younger siblings. Esther gave tirelessly of her time to care for those less fortunate in their parish. But there are wonderful attributes in Malawi. It's known as the warm heart of Africa. People are kind and caring. That kindness extends to visitors from abroad, and I have personal experience to speak to that. Also, that kindness shines through the people who have escaped poverty and are now looking after their nuclear families, but also extended families. Some of our staff are caring for nieces and nephews who are living with them. My inspiration comes from a tiny 13-month-old girl. Her name is Isabel, and I met her on my first trip to Malawi. We picked up Isabel from the hospital to take her back down to her orphanage. On our 2.5-hour trip, she looked at me with her big brown eyes, and I felt a connection with little Isabel. She seemed to be telling me that I had a responsibility to make things better. A few days later, I received a call that Isabel had died. She had not survived her very preventable diseases. I couldn't come back to Canada surrounded by everything I could possibly need, and a lot that I don't, and not do anything to care for the people that I had met. The number one priority for villagers was the need for clean water. Adults were getting sick, not able to work. Children were dying from cholera and dysentery. So we decided to focus on providing clean water to villages, and the Malawi Water Project was formed. We started with 2 goals. The first was to teach local Malawians how to construct, install, and maintain the household biosand water filter. We also wanted to teach proper sanitation and hygiene. We needed a robust technology that would survive the harsh conditions of the villages and would last a long time. We chose the biosand water filter because it is made of concrete, sand, and gravel, supplies that are easily available in the country. It works on the slow sand method of purification, and it'll remove 95% of bacteria and 80 to 90% of viruses if it's installed and used properly. The inventor is Dr. David Mans from the University of Calgary. It's estimated that there's over 200,000 biosand filters in use today throughout the world. Our process follows a system. We want to make sure that villages that we're working with want us there and want to work with us. We meet with the chiefs to determine whether or not they are willing to work alongside of us to improve the health of their village. If they are, we will work with that village. And we hold an initial community WASH meeting, water, sanitation, and hygiene. We talk about how dirty water is making them sick, and also explain how changes in behavior of sanitation and hygiene can improve the health of their village. We introduce the biosand water filter, and people sign up if they're interested in receiving one in their home. They need to pay a nominal fee for their filter because we find it instills pride of ownership. But also, just like us, they will take better care of something that they have worked hard for. We have 2 operations, one in the north outside of the city of Mazuzu, and the second in Chikwawa, a district in the south. We have 2 teams for which we pay and the Anglican Church administers. This is a video of our team members at work. I had talked about our 2 operations. This one is our south factory, where filters are made and training volunteers happens there as well. The filter is made of concrete. We want to make sure that it's mixed properly to the proper consistency so there aren't any leaks or cracks. It's poured into a steel mold and then after it's set and removed from the mold, it's allowed to cure for 7 days. We wash the sand and gravel that goes inside of the filter, and that's the media that removes the pathogens. We talk to homeowners about how to take care of their filter and also talk to them about changes that they could make around sanitation and hygiene to improve their health. We don't just drop filters off and never go back again. We follow up 4 times over the following year, and we work with homeowners to reach their goals. This family is happy because they have a filter and they don't have to worry about waterborne diseases anymore. In March of 2019, Malawi was hit with Cyclone Ida. Many of the villages around our factory were completely devastated, and homes were destroyed.
So that is one of our filters now, just being dug out from our house, that has completely collapsed.
So that filter survived, and you can see how strong the technology is. We also train volunteers. They help us out in their communities by instilling proper sanitation and hygiene behaviors, also following up on filters and letting us know if there's a problem that we need to fix. When we're training for a healthy home, we're teaching 8 parameters. The first one is a clean, covered pit latrine or toilet with a hand washing station outside. We really encourage hand washing after using a latrine, after diapering a baby, and before handling food. We want to make sure that there's a dish drying rack and a clothesline so that the dishes and clothes are disinfected by sunlight. Also, they need to have a bathhouse so that people have a private place to bathe. Other parameters that we look for are a rubbish pit, and then they need to protect their water sources from their animals. As well, they need to have a secondary container that they use only for filtered water so that it doesn't get recontaminated. We teach them to cover their food from the flies. This year has been so unusual with COVID-19. We decided in April that we would go out to the villages that we're working with and take colored picture posters to explain how to protect themselves against the virus. We also took soap to encourage hand washing. It was felt that Malawi would be completely devastated by the pandemic due to the lack of medical services. So in May, we decided that we needed to close the factories. We wanted to protect our staff, and also we didn't want to spread the virus to the villagers. I was concerned about closing both factories because along with people that were waiting for filters, we also have volunteers that come and help out when we're constructing filters, and during those days they get a noon meal, and that's often the only meal that they will get for that day. Our team members encouraged us to reopen in the summer on a limited basis because they felt they could meet all the government restrictions that were put in place for workplaces, and that they would be able to protect the villagers by preventative measures. So we did reopen in the summer on a limited basis and started producing filters again. And we thought it would be fun for you to meet some of our amazing staff members, volunteers, and beneficiaries. This is Darlene Singo. She's the field coordinator for our South Factory, and she's wanting to show you around the factory.
Hello everybody, my name is Darlene Singo. Welcome to the Malawi Water Project South Factory. Come on in, let me show you around. The first thing you notice when you come in is our hand washing station. This is where we do our hand washing. And this area over here, this is where we do our construction of the filters. So this is where our filters get constructed. So you can see over here we have everything we need for the construction. Over here we have different sizes of gravel, and then we have our molds over here as well. So everything happens over here. And then after we have demolded the filters, this is where they come to cure. So these are already constructed filters which are curing for the time being, waiting to be delivered into communities. Over here we have our training room, which you also use as a conference room. We do all our trainings over here. We also sometimes lend it out, organizations, if they want to use it as a conference room. So this is where all the training happens here. This is our outside kitchen. As you can see, it has open windows, so it is easier to cook in here. There's a lot of air coming in and going out, so we prefer cooking here in the outside kitchen. We usually have volunteers here at the factory who help us with the sieving of the sand and then washing of the sand for the biosand filters. So this is where we do our sand washing, this is where we do our sand sieving. You can also see we have our sand sorter here as well, which uses electricity. So when the volunteers are not here, or we are just the staff around here, we use the sand sorter. But today, luckily, we have the volunteers around. So these are some of our volunteers. Say hi, everyone. So these are our volunteers, and then we have some of our staff here as well. So through this room, this is where we store our sieves, where we store our media bags, where we store our diffuser boxes. So it's closer to where the people are sieving sand, so it's very convenient. This is pretty much what we do here at Malawi Water Project. But last but not least, let me show you what we do after the day. So we have our showers over there. After a very hot day, people are able to just go have a shower. So let me show you the bathrooms. So over here we have our toilets. So we have two toilets. We have this one, and then we have the other one at the back. And on the other side, we have our showers. When all is done, and then The sand has been sieved, people have washed themselves. We prepare ourselves for a meal. So we usually have lunches here with our volunteers. So we'll show you, right now we'll show you the process of how we make our lunch. So we have a garden over there where we pick our tomatoes, our vegetables. So we pick our own vegetables, we have our own tomatoes, and then we cook lunch for everybody. So this is everybody else. This is, especially the women are the ones who take part in the cooking. So we have our volunteers and our team both working together to make lunch for everybody. So you have seen the factory, you have met the team. This is Malawi Water Project South. I want to thank the Malawi Water Project Canada team for the hard work they are putting into this project to make everything else possible and easier for us here. I want to thank our volunteers and everybody else who takes time to donate to Malawi Water Project. Thank you very much.
That was our south factory. We also have an operation in the north, and it's very close to Lake Malawi, which is a huge lake, about 1/5 of the area of the country. There are many villages living along the lake shore, and we want to make sure that the villagers are protected from the contaminated water of the lake. So we're distributing filters to those villages along with the help of our partners in the north. And Esau Jaramu is our field coordinator for the North team, and he would like to talk to you now.
My name is Esau Jaramu. I'm working with the Malawi Water Project as a coordinator for the North. Here in North, there are 5 districts. Each district they have got their language. Even their beliefs are different. Just taken an example in Bay, where Malawi Water Project they have a factory there. They speak Tonga, and the people there they are depending on farming and fishing because they have an access of Lake, which is Lake Malawi. I'm happy to talk about our partners, who is Look International, who buy filters from us going to the remote area. Look International, with our partners, we are working together, going there with the filters. But transportation of the filters from Bay going there is very difficult because they are depending on a boat. To transport filters is very difficult. Sometimes we have seen lake being rough, and even we cannot be passable because of the lake. Look International manages to have the filters there because people there, they are just taking their water is just dirty, and even water which they are using if their daily life is not good. People, they are not even digging a toilet there because of the rock which is there and the mountains, and their soil is cannot have a toilet because there is a clay one which is cannot even have a toilet for so long time. After Look International visiting there and chatting with people complaining about choleras and diarrhea, I am now happy because people they are using water which is clean. My appealing to the Malawi Water Management that they should continue be a heart of passion which they can assist the needy people in the community to save their lives, especially for the vulnerable life of the under 5, which they are suffering, but they're just crying. You cannot even see what is crying because is suffering inside for the diarrhea. Malawi Water Project Canada, please help the Malawi Water Project to assist the community to have the clean water which they can save their lives. Thank you.
How do we measure success? We expect active participation of the village chiefs and the villagers. We want to see a demand list for filters signed by individuals who really want filters, so we know they'll be taken care of in their homes. We want to see 8 healthy home parameters that are being met or worked towards. We want every filter to be working, and we want to make sure that we have a reported reduction of waterborne diseases by the local health clinics. We know healthy homes create healthy villages. Even with our shutdown this year, we have been able to distribute and install and follow up on 2,909 filters, which provides clean water to approximately 20,300 people. We've also distributed information on proper sanitation and hygiene to 24,159 people. And that's to the end of October 2020. The monitoring tool we use is Kobo Toolbox, and we're able to get the GPS locations of each and every biosand filter in our project. Our project depends heavily on volunteers. We began working through Deer Park United Church for several years, and then in 2017 we became a registered Canadian charity called Healthy Lives International Society. We still depend heavily on Deer Park United Church and St. Andrew's United Church in Calgary for support and fundraising. We are governed by a volunteer board of directors, management team, who set the goals, vision goals and objectives for the project along with the teams over in Malawi. They also monitor the program and monitor the finances. Oftentimes, team members will go over and support the teams there and monitor the program on the ground. We have a country director, Sarah Faulkner, who lives in Malawi. She supervises the teams there. As well, she networks with our partner organizations and government agencies. We also depend heavily on volunteers in Malawi to help us in their villages instill proper sanitation and hygiene, as well as check up on the filters and let us know if there's a problem. They also help during construction of filters. Here's a message from one of our volunteers.
My name is Madzi. I am a volunteer with Malawi Water Project. I received a water filter which has given my family and I access to clean water. Having clean water protects us from diseases. It encourages my family because we feel blessed to have a filter. We used to face a lot of health issues that are caused by drinking dirty water. Now that we have the filter, our family is stronger and healthier because we no longer drink dirty water. With this, we thank Malawi Water Project for what they are doing in our community to help our family live healthy and happy lives.
Along with our dependence on volunteers, we also depend on our partner organizations who sponsor filters to go to many of the villages. We're very thankful to Rotary Club of Calgary Centennial for sponsoring filters. Formidable Joy has also sponsored filters, and we'll hear from the founder of Formidable Joy in a little while. Luke International is an organization based in Taiwan. Kingdom Workers are based in the US. Fisherman's Rest is headquartered in the UK. And ATB Cares is an Alberta organization, and they provide tax receipts for our online donations without charge. And so we're really thankful to those partners, and also to Centex Petroleum for sponsoring our sand sorter and washer. Without the help and assistance from these organizations, we would not be able to provide clean water to as many families as we have. So we're truly thankful. And here's a message from our partner, Cindy Rude, from Formidable Joy. She has graciously sent us a recording. Formidable Joy digs deep wells in Malawi, and Cindy goes over often to Malawi. Also, they're repairing boreholes, and they have sponsored several filters with us, as well as provided the posters and soap to help protect villages against the virus. So here's a message from Cindy.
Hey everybody, my name is Cindy Rude, and I'm the founder of an organization called Formidable Joy. Just like Malawi Water Project, our sole mission is also to provide access to clean water in Malawi. We work with Malawi Water Project to implement projects that we sponsor. So to date, I think we've done about 75 biosand filters with them. They're now doing borehole repair maintenance, so I'm looking forward to working on that with them next. I think when I think of Malawi Water Project, I think about how hard these people work and how good they are at what they do. Again, you know, I'm a donor just like you're a donor, and we're so far from the projects that you want to know that the projects that you sponsor are really happening, and they're happening well. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that they do, and they are. I have visited several projects with them, from Chikwawa to Mazuzu, and temperatures can reach upwards to 100 degrees. Well, you're Celsius, I'm Fahrenheit, so 40 degrees Celsius. And nobody is phased. You know, we're out in the field for like an hour and I start to fade, but they just keep going. One time we went to visit projects and we had to take a boat ride. It was a 90-minute boat ride to get there, and the waves were like this on Lake Malawi. You get off the boat, you're a little wobbly, a little seasick, at least I was, and once again, like I said, it's 40 degrees / 100 degrees when you get there. And then when you get there, you have to climb 100 steps up a hill to get to these homes where they're servicing. And while I'm dying of seasickness and heat exhaustion, nobody in Malawi Water Project has phased whatsoever. They get to the homes, everybody knows who they are, they've been there to check the homes to make sure everybody knows that the product's working. So I just want you to know that when you support Malawi Water Project, they do what they say they're going to do, and they do it well, and they're very respected, and I am so grateful to have them as partners. I'm huge fans of Sarah, who's the country director of Malawi, and I'm a huge fan of Helen, the founder of Malawi Water Project. So here we are, these three formidable females who found a passion for water and a passion for our country, and I'm just grateful. So thank you so much for including me tonight. I hope your fundraiser goes well. I hope you raise a lot of money because it's going to a great cause. All right, you guys, thanks. Good night.
Thank you, Cindy, for those kind words. As Cindy mentioned, we are starting a new initiative, borehole repair. Oftentimes, a borehole will break down in a village, and the village isn't able to repair it. Here's a video of doing some work on a borehole. The village isn't able to get the parts. Often they don't have the money to pay for the parts. They don't know where to locate them, and they don't have transportation to take the parts to their village, and public transportation doesn't go there. So that's where we can help. We purchase the parts, we take them to the village, repair the borehole, and teach people how to repair their borehole, small repairs, and also how to maintain it. We have an agreement signed with the village that they will repay us for the parts over the coming year. The parts can range from $3 up to $500 if the complete replacement is needed. But it's so important for the village to have their borehole working again so they have clean water. It saves women and girls from having to travel long distances to collect dirty water from ponds, streams, and rivers. Here's Beauty Banda. Her job is to collect water for her family.
My name is Beauty Banda. I am 11 years old. We get our water from a borehole, which we use for cleaning dishes, drinking, and cooking. When our borehole was broken, we used to go far to get water. But now that Malawi Water Project has fixed our borehole, we are getting our water near. Thank you, Malawi Water Project, for fixing our borehole.
It is really important to have a working borehole in a village. It saves so much time in collecting water, and it's also safer. We have another new initiative that we're embarking on. It's called Community Health Clubs. A community health club is a group of volunteers in the community responsible for the improvement of public health standards and living conditions. It's a volunteer group open to everyone, and it acts as a forum for the group to be able to improve family health through hygiene behavior change, aimed at reducing preventable diseases without relying on support from external sources. Our job is to help set up the clubs and give them support. So we work with the government, health workers, to train community facilitators who will be the leaders of their clubs. It's a fun way for people to work on goals together. They have a membership card and will take training through weekly meetings over 20 to 24 weeks. And after the training is completed, they will graduate and have a celebration. The club provides a name for their club, and then they create songs, dances, and skits. So we're looking forward to that. Right now, the team and some of us in Canada are taking training on Zoom, which is a new way for us to take training where we see ourselves on the computer. And the training, we're in Malawi, we have 2 laptops, one in the north and one in the south. So 6 people are learning around the laptops. And we're learning from Dr. Juliet Waterkin, who designed and implemented the Community Health Club concept in a number of countries in Africa. And it's been very successful. It's an amazing, cost-effective, and sustainable way for women to take control of their family health and make improvements. So we're looking forward to that in the new year. I hope this presentation has shed some light on the struggles and difficulties that the majority of Malawians are facing. In order for rural villages to overcome extreme poverty, they need knowledge. Knowledge on water, sanitation, and hygiene, and knowledge on preventable diseases. Once they are well and healthy, they can learn various things that will help in improving their lives. They can learn about proper nutrition, improved farming techniques, income generating opportunities. The desire for knowledge is really strong, and that's something that we can provide with your help. Thank you, Zakomo, and thank you for sharing your time with us this evening. We really appreciate it. Have a great evening and stay safe. Good night, everyone.